Hello, mixtresses and mixters. This is Mixtressrae. You're watching Mixtress video. So today we're doing a pick-a-pile reading based on embodying the tower. So this is a concept that excuse me while I rearrange everything. I thought I spent more time setting up today than I normally do. And yet I still need to fix things as soon as I sit down. Okay, cool. Okay, so those of y'all that are new subscribers in the last couple of weeks, this is the first pick-a-pile reading I'm doing since you subscribed perhaps, but this is something that I do once or twice a week right now because it's really satisfying for me to do, because I'm actually using my tarot and oracle decks, you know? It's not dependent upon how many people order readings from me. I can just sit down and do these pick-a-pile readings anytime I just want to play with tarot. And if you get something out of them, great. If you don't, you know, also fine. Like, you know, as they say, take what resonates and leave the rest. So here we are. So sometime somewhat recently, I did a pick-a-pile reading, and one of the piles got the Tower card. And the Tower card in the context of that particular reading was about you as a person embodying the tower. And so you are kind of the building and you are knocking the people off of you. It was kind of it's sort of, and this concept has stuck with me in the last few weeks. Like, if you reflect an extreme emotion in another person, it's like you embodying the tower, sort of sacred rage, can convince people, it's not really the right word, can elicit the type of response in a person that shows you their true face. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you have extreme emotions, sacred rage is kind of what I'm calling it. When you yourself embody the tower, it's not something happening to you. You have become it. You have become sort of Kali, the goddess Kali. You have become her, and you're setting boundaries. You're knocking people off of you. You are, you know, it's a beautiful thing in this case. Embodying the tower is a beautiful thing. It's a scary thing. It's an emotional thing. There's a lot happening with it. There's a lot of emotions, but I think it's interesting. So I've been wanting to do this for weeks now, a pick-a-pile reading based on embodying the tower. So I have sort of picked my favorite tower cards. Yeah, these are some of my favorite tower cards, at least. So you can pick based on which one of these tower cards you like the best, or whatever. So first I'm going to light the candle. Or actually, let me just pull these up close so you can decide. So pile 1 is going to be this tower card here with the keywords draconian and forceful. Pile 2 is going to be this tower card here. And I like the ones that, my favorite tower cards are the ones that are sort of more like a person, a thing happening in the mind, that kind of thing. And then this is the Buffy tarot for pile 3. So it is a specific moment in Buffy. And it is more of a moment where Buffy was making the decision for herself to jump off of this tower. I'm just going to leave it there so there's no actual Buffy spoilers, just in case somebody doesn't want them. But she made the decision for herself. It wasn't a tower moment that happened to her. It was a tower moment that she chose for herself. also realizing I need to open my window. Okay, let's start with pile 1. Using my phone today, so it's a much wider shot than I'm used to. So we got like the whole table in the shot here. Okay, I think how I'm gonna do it is keep out the Tower card, because we already know that we're getting the Tower card in this particular reading. Like, it's kind of the point. Can you guys see that? Not really. What about that? Better? What about this? I need another little card stand. I'll have to get that soon. Okay, we'll pull your... So if you are, excuse me, in a place in your life right now where you're really needing to set some strong boundaries, you're needing to let go of some things or people in your life, and you are sort of embodying this, you're embodying the Tower. You're really, maybe even you're the type of person that, like, you don't really have a lot of issues with people. You're generally very accepting, but you get to a point where it's like, okay, I have really given you a lot of space. I have really I've really tried to understand you. I've really given you a lot of compassion and a lot of space, and I can't do it anymore. And then you just sort of rage out. It's like those people, I am one of these people actually, where like, you know, nothing bothers me, nothing bothers me, nothing bothers me. And then suddenly it does. And it's not a great way to have friendships in life, because, you know, if I were more self-aware of like what's actually going on, I could set boundaries before I get to that point. But if you're already at that point where you're about to sacred rage out, at this point you can't necessarily control. Well, that's not working at all now, is it? There we go. At this point, you can't necessarily control it. It's already happening. You might as well embrace it. You might as well figure out the best ways to set boundaries in your life. Yeah, I don't know exactly what this reading's going to be. And apparently this card's going to be down here. But let me just get all the cards going first. This one is, I took it out of my giveaway box. We're giving it a chance today. We're giving it a chance to surprise me. It's its last chance. So this is the Goddess. This is the Goddess that is going to support you on your Tower embodiment moment. Of course, we always have Kali, but you in particular. And I am going to pull a specific Kali related card as well. Foul knock. Envy. So one thing that you could be dealing with, like if you are sort of on the edge of like a breaking point, you're about to explode, you're about to become the Tower to everyone in your life. And it's, you know, I'm not talking about like rage. I'm not talking about like, you know, being cruel to people when I talk about embodying the Tower. I'm talking about like getting like a swift execution of the things and the people in your life that are not good for you. And it's all going to happen at one fell swoop. It's going to be, it's difficult. It's, yeah. So that's kind of what I'm talking about here. So envy is specifically something that has possibly caused you to get to this breaking point wherein you are wanting to embody the tower. And then this is Dark Mirror Oracle, which is really good with like shadow type stuff. Like this is a confrontational deck, which, I mean, if you're embodying the tower, you are, whether you're ready for it or not, you're here, you're confronting things. So what do you specifically need to confront as you embody the tower? I mean, it looks like envy is one of those things. And then we also have Colorless Angel. So this is a card about being apathetic in the world. Like this embodying the tower moment could very well be for you a moment where the color comes back into your cheeks. You're feeling something again. Even if it starts out being very uncomfortable, you are feeling something. This is an important time. It's reinvigorating you in your life. And we also have balance. So in this moment of like extreme tower embodiment in your life, this is actually like emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, this is a time in which you are recreating balance for yourself. Through this process, you will become more balanced. Oh my God, I threw that card. Okay, that's your card then. If I threw it on the floor, that means it's yours. If I throw it on the floor, that means it's yours. Protection. I've been pulling the protection card from almost every Oracle deck I have lately. So this means a couple of different things. One of the things is if you are in and embodying the tower moment, whether you feel like, you know, like I said, it's not the tower happening to you, you have become it. But even so, it still feels dramatic. It still feels... The most important thing that I can say to you, which was said to me recently, is you are safe. You are safe. Your ghost guides and goddesses, or however you view that sort of energy in your life, they are protecting you. And if you are a spellcrafting person, it's also a great idea for you right now to do protection-specific spells. Do banishment spells for anyone that is really, you know, doesn't have your best interest at heart. Do banishing spells. Do protection spells. Because this situation is going to improve your life, but it's going to feel really tumultuous in the process of it, right? The tower's not comfortable. Okay, I had like many more Oracle decks that I wanted to use, but I feel like I don't really have room for them. I've gotten so many Oracle decks lately, and I haven't been doing pick-up piles for you guys, and I just want to use all of my new decks to see how they work. Sometimes I do not know if I like a tarot or oracle until I'm using it for you. So we might just be pulling a lot of cards today. That's fine. There's chaos. You know, embodying the tower is a moment of chaos. There's a lot of things happening around you. Okay, there's that one. So we got non-attachment. Desire and attachment are the way to suffering. We suffer when we don't get what we think we want, or when we lose what we think we have. Let me start this over. Desire and attachment are the way to suffering. We suffer when we don't get what we think we want, or when we lose what we think we have. Nothing is permanent or unchanging. Practice non-attachment to material items and specific outcomes. So this is a really good message for, and I am relating this to stuff that I'm going through because, you know, nothing is objective. That's part of the deal. If you are, particularly because we have this envy card, we have the balance, the colorless angel, I feel like you're just kind of, you're sort of wispy, you're like a wispy ghost sort of floating through life right now in some ways. And this embodying the tower moment is going to reawaken you to life. As I said before, it's going to rebalance you, even though right now it feels like a lot of chaos. But the thing that triggered, I'm really seeing this Falnock card, or however you say that, as the envy. Envy is the thing that triggered this. Envy is what triggered this. Okay, and we have Lalita. So I know that with Lalita, I'm going to read the back here in a second as well. But with Lalita, I see her as the Hindu pantheon equivalent of Bast, the Egyptian cat goddess, and she is all about play. She's all about basking in the sun, enjoying the moment, these sort of like pursuit of the hedonistic life, a life of pleasure. That's not a bad thing, as long as, you know, your pleasure is not coming at the expense of someone else, of course, but so this is a reminder not to take life so seriously. So let me read the back too. Lalita Tripura Sundari. A chapter in your life is closing and will not be reopened. This will be reason for celebration. Whatever you need to release right now shall create the space for what is divinely destined for you to manifest through her grace. You shall enjoy a change of pace and a release from intensity. Open your heart to the beginning of a golden era. Lalita. So you're getting like kind of a triple goddess energy here, because not only are you getting Falnock, which I should get out the guidebook because I don't know like what pantheon she's from or anything like that. I need to look that up. So you're getting Lalita, Hindu goddess. You're also, in a sense, getting Kali, because Kali is the tower card in my mind. So all of these readings today, you get Kali. And you're getting Lalita and then Falnock. Okay, let me see. I did get out the guidebook. Okay, good. Falnock. Who is Falnock? Irish. She was so jealous of her husband's second wife, Etain, that she plotted to remove her by using magic, such as transforming Etain into a butterfly to be blown away. Her attempts failed, and she eventually lost her head as a result. Okay. Very quick and dirty. Like, okay. I'm going to go ahead and just put this on the screen just since it's here right now, in case you want to read any of this. By and large, one of the reasons why I'm thinking about letting this one go is because the guidebook is not good. Okay. Let's flip over your tarot cards now. We've got the Six of Wands, Archetype, and Victor. We've got the Nine of Wands, Dazed and Confused. We've got the King of Cups, Diviner, and Sage. We've got the Lovers, Twin Soul, and Reverence. We got the Five of Coins, Concern and Complexity. And we got the Magician, Sorcerer, or Sorceress, and Alchemist. Okay, so let me just take a second. Let me take this in. We got Envy, Colorless Angel, Balance, Protection. We got one Court card, two Wands, one Coin, and two Majors. Fire, Water, air, earth. So we have, like, all the elements are really represented here, but we're a little heavier. I feel like we're a little heavier. Well, no, it feels pretty balanced to me, actually. It feels pretty balanced. Here we have, in this non-attachment card, I'm seeing many elements, because we have the fire that's sort of burning away this tree, but the tree is earth. And then you have the smoke coming from the fire, so that's air. I guess the only thing that's missing from this card is water. And then we got fire, fire. I would see Lolita is mostly fire. Of course, cups, we got water. Air with Gemini and the Lovers. Earth with 5 of Coins. And air with the Magician, right? Because that's Mercury. I see Mercury as air. I don't know if that's correct, but, and I see this colorless angel as air as well, because they're sort of like, you know that, if you do know Buffy, there's an episode of Buffy towards the very, very beginning where a girl feels like no one notices her, so she literally starts becoming invisible. Because it was like her perception became reality. No one noticed her, no one, like, just like no one knew that she existed, so she started fading away until she became invisible. That's kind of what I'm seeing with this colorless angel card right now. And because we have envy here and the 5 of Coins, and the Lovers, okay? I see the Lovers as being like a self-actualization card. It is your soul path. It is where you're meant to be, the path that you're meant to be on. So whatever is happening to you right now, whatever sort of like sacred tower moment or whatever you're calling it that led you to wanting to watch this video, it is, I mean, I want to be careful, like, to say that it's meant to be, this path that you're on is meant to be happening. If there is a lot of trauma associated with that, I am not suggesting that you deserve any of that trauma. But whatever it is that you are learning from getting through this process is part of what you are meant, part of the path that you're meant to be on in this life, you know? But if that isn't a way that you want to view it, then ignore me. You know, like, it's a tricky subject, and I've talked about this before, but like, part of coping with trauma for some people is forgiving and telling yourself this was meant to be, this was meant to happen as part of my path. If that narrative is constructive for you, please use it. If it's not, ignore anyone that tells you that you need to forgive someone that treated you like shit. There's a difference between like accepting what has happened to you and moving on, and actually forgiving the person that caused trauma in your life. It's something that I say often because I think it's important to bring that up. It's important to reiterate that. So right now you're feeling very hypervigilant. You're having, I'm seeing this King of Cups as being kind of like, some days you have it all under control and other days you don't. Like, you're struggling to contain your emotions right now, which is part of why you're in this embodying the tower moment for yourself. But it's all in service of balance for you. Like, you are going to end up, I'm seeing this as sort of an ultimate outcome card, this balance card. You're ultimately going to rebalance, you know? This is part of your sacred path, whatever it is that you're going through right now. And if you're really feeling that lack mentality that is generally associated with 5 of Coins, and I'm assuming that this is part of your path right now because of this envy keyword and because we have the 5 of Coins. So whatever it is that, and I know for me, I'm constantly comparing things to my own life. For me, it's really difficult for me to look at right? When I'm in a very sensitive space, it's very difficult for me to look at the lives of other people because I'm tempted to compare myself to them and think, well, I don't have the money to afford that stuff, and I don't have this, and I don't have that. And it's, it's obviously like a shadow that I need to work on. But I don't know, there's not really a but. That's something that I need to work on. So if that resonates with you, if you are finding yourself like anyone you follow on any kind of social media, and I'm going to lump YouTube in with that as well. Any social media that, like, if you are tempted to identify with someone that you're watching or following or subscribe to or whatever, if you identify with them, but then you feel less than when you're looking at them. This is also something I say a lot. It's totally okay to step away from that person for a while, to remove yourself from the temptation to compare yourself to certain people. And it doesn't mean that you don't like them as humans. It doesn't mean that you think that they're a bad person. I know for me, it's like sometimes I just feel really guilty when I unsubscribe to someone for an arbitrary reason, such as like, I can't watch this person. There's a friend in my life. I mean, I say a friend, we haven't spoken in a long time, but like we met many, many, many years ago. And she, to me, like her social media feed looks like, and we all have these experiences, right? Or I think, or in my particular shadow, though, I have a problem with comparing myself to others. So that's why I'm bringing this up. So she, like, to me, she looks like she's living my life better than I am. So every time I see pictures on her social media feed, it's like we have very similar interests. We have very similar personality types. She's a nice person. She's an awesome person. But I had to unfollow her because I just felt bad every time I saw pictures from her life. It made me feel bad because because I can't embody myself as truly as she is embodying herself, at least at this point in my life, or the way that I perceive her to be based on her social media feed, right? So it's like she may not even be living her best life, but she is able to curate what she puts out there so that you think that she is. You know what I mean? I mean, this is a common issue that anyone that is on social media has. We all unintentionally are comparing ourselves to others. So how can we, and this is a thing that is definitely a part of my embodying the tower moment, is that some of the people and things that I'm knocking off of myself as the tower are people that aren't actually real. And when I say that, I just mean I don't actually have personal connections with these people. So, like parasocial relationships, that kind of thing. Like, you're not necessarily going to hurt someone by unsubscribing to them or unfollowing them, as long as you don't announce why you're doing it before you do it. I've had people do that to me before. It's like, they leave me a comment telling me why they're unsubscribing. It's like, great, thanks. Did you need to do that? I don't think you did. So yeah, practicing non-attachment is something that is very important too, especially if you find yourself in the Five of Pentacles envy space. If you find yourself in that space, practicing non-attachment is, and it's difficult because, like, it depends on what your relationship to the objects in your life is. If you tend to create spiritual relationships to the objects in your life, and you kind of have an animism mentality, which, if you haven't heard that term, I believe that it means that you kind of personify objects. This is like the overview. You personify objects. If you sort of have that mentality, it can be difficult to practice non-attachment because I guess it's more about practicing non-attachment to the things that are actually causing you distress. So it could be time as you're embodying the tower, and it likely is time anytime you're embodying the tower in your life, to let some shit go. Just let it go. A way to, it's almost like it's a step in the process of setting better boundaries for yourself. Like the first thing you do is eject. Eject people that aren't like good for you anymore. Eject things that you don't need anymore, things that you aren't using. Eject. And then you set the boundaries. Then you cast your protection spell around the things that actually do matter. So like this little egg down here is like a symbol of the things that really do matter to you. The things that survive the ejection, the sacred culling process in your life. What's left? So wait until you've done all of that like culling and ejecting. And also recognize though, because I know for me this is also an issue, I tend to like whatever my like the sacred objects in my life, the things that I tend to collect, I will, you know, just consume. And then it's a binge and it's a purge. It's a binge and it's a purge. So for me, I do this thing now when I'm ready to like eject a whole bunch of shit. I make myself wait. I set it aside so I'm not looking at it all the time. That's why I have like a giveaway box. I set things aside. I let myself kind of forget about them, and then I come back to them. And if they're still not working for me, it might be time to let it go at that point. It might be time to put it back in the box for a while. You know, like give yourself some time so that you're not compulsively ejecting when you're not entirely sure about something. But you know when you're entirely sure about something. You know. And if you don't know, then take this moment to take stock of like, so we're all learning, right? We're all learning what works for us and what doesn't. We're all learning how to navigate life. Take notes, journal. The more self-reflective you can be, the better off you will eventually be. Yeah, I think that's a good place to stop. Take care of yourself. Remember that life doesn't have to be super serious. You are safe. The end of this tumultuous process that you're going through right now is going to be balance. Re-engage with life in whatever way you can. And I think that's going to involve playing to a certain extent. Re-engaging with the things that you enjoy in your life, so that you can come back into focus again. Okay, that's all for pile 1, and I will move on to pile 2 now. Okay, pile 2 with this tower card here. Okay. So what do we need to know about your current embodying the tower moment in your life? What do you need to let go of? What was the trigger for your embodying the tower moment? What do we need to know about it? This is going to sort of be your goddess that's sort of seeing you through this tower moment. She's not going to be the only one because Kali is always with us when we're talking about the tower, so she's already here. But what other goddess is coming through for you? I feel like it's one of these top two. It's this one. So we have Tiamat, control. So I'm also seeing this with your pile and the last one, maybe also with the third one. The key word on this Dark Goddess card is kind of your trigger. The thing that triggered you into this current embodying the tower moment that you're having is control. You may be attempting to control too many aspects of your life right now. And that's what led you to sort of this like sacred rage explosion moment, chaos moment, where you are embodying the tower right now. See it. Okay, it's this one. Gentleness. I think this is how to treat yourself right now. Be gentle with yourself. And these little doves here as well, like it's almost like in your, yeah, I think this is just like, don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. You cannot control everything. You can't control whatever the situation is that's most distracting for you, or just the situation in your life that you've been trying to control the most. Like I'm getting like a family member sort of vibe here. Like maybe there's like a son or a daughter that like, not that you're, I mean, you don't think of yourself as trying to control them, but you can see exactly the path that they're going down because you've been there and you're trying to help them. And it's just, they got to make their own fucking mistakes, man. So if this is, like, obviously that's not going to apply to everyone, but maybe there's someone else in your life, a friend, a family member that isn't a son or daughter that, like, you're trying to give them advice. But even if you're not actually trying to control them, that's the way they're seeing what you're doing. So it's time to let go. Be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with them. It's bringing up whatever the situation is that you're trying to control right now is bringing up a lot of like childhood shit for you. And recognize what's yours and don't push it onto them. Is what I'm getting here. We also have anticipation. So here I'm like with the way that these like little tables and shit are set up. I mean, I guess this is kind of like a cafe moment and the crow is anticipating like when the people come and they have their lunch, I will get snacks. So this could be, and I also sort of see it as an anticipation of an event. Like maybe someone in your life is getting married and yeah, because even here like with the bouquet of flowers and then this person's veil white outfit, yeah. So are you being very controlling about the planning of a wedding? That's very specific, right? There's going to be some letting go that needs to happen if that is your specific situation. You can't control it. You cannot control it. It's going to be how it's going to be. This one's going to sort of be your, like, shadow card moment. Like, what is the sort of, like, take it to your journal, psychological thing at the root of all of this? I mean, we've got control as at the root of all of this, but then there's going to be something. This card actually probably needs to be next to this control card. This one. Downcast pride. So it's almost like downcast pride. There's something in your life that you would like to be proud of, but everyone else around you is telling you you shouldn't be proud of that, either that particular thing that you accomplished or that particular aspect of yourself. I feel like the people around you are trying to take away your power and tell you not to be proud of that thing, tell you to ignore that aspect of yourself, repress that aspect of yourself. I have never seen this card in that way before, but that is kind of what I'm getting here. I'm going to get a little bit more from the guidebook as well, real quick. Let's see, number 20. So in this deck, every card is associated with a moon phase and a stage of grief. So this one is depression, and the moon phase is new. So we have bending to adapt becomes an excuse for the habit of bending. The root of sadness and grief is deeper than the skin. The only delusion is the gray sky. Survival is a direct consequence of an adaptation. What we call adaptation is not the result of a subtle but constantly constructive change of ourselves, but rather a mockery of it, as we strip day by day of our dignity in order to avoid conflict with a world that would spread us apart. Okay, so that does kind of go with my instinct of like just interpreting this card. Like, people, I think this is more of a trust yourself situation. Like, I think there's people in your life that are telling you that you're wrong, but you know you're right about this particular thing. And maybe the control is more associated. This is probably because there's different people watching this reading, right? So some of y'all are exerting a little bit too much control over others in your life, but others of you are exerting too much control on yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Let it go a little bit. Allow yourself to anticipate the good things in life. Like, there is still good in this life. People are telling you you shouldn't be proud of yourself, but you really should be proud of yourself. I mean, obviously, like, take that with a grain of salt. If there's something like truly shitty that you did and you know it was shitty, I'm not talking about that thing. I'm talking about the things that aren't truly shitty, but people might be telling you they're shitty because they want to take away your power. Interesting. And then we have strength. Yeah. This is a real moment of strength for you. You are stronger than you think you are. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, this first sentence. You are much more powerful than you think. This is the time to be confident in your decisions. Inner fortitude is a choice. Choose to believe in yourself despite your fears and any perceived inner weakness. Choose to believe in yourself. I feel like you're surrounded by some people that are, they're trying to control you. They're trying to control you. They're telling you, because they know that you tend to be hard on yourself. Whoever these people are that are trying to control you, they know that you tend to be hard on yourself, so they are taking advantage of that. You might even have some like narcissists in your life. just really getting like wedding vibes from both of these cards. So, very specific, not going to apply to everyone. Are there some red flags? Are you engaged? Are there some red flags about the current relationship that you're in? And specifically red flags associated with control. Do you think, is a person trying to control you that you are thinking about spending your life with? Obviously, you know, like if you ask that question and you're like, oh no, everything's fine, then ignore me. I'm not suggesting you blow up your relationship if it's not ready to blow up. But, you know, this is your life. I am only interpreting what I see in front of me, and if it doesn't reflect in you, leave it. If it does, then, you know, your life, your choice. But I am seeing sort of a red flag attached to a wedding. Ears. So listen. Listen to not only what people are saying, but listen in between the lines. You know, because people that are exerting control, they find ways to tell you, they find ways to convince you to, you know, question yourself. They find ways to, like, their voice becomes a voice inside your head. And they're smart. People that control people are smart. They know how to get in your head. If there's someone in your life that knows how to get in your head right now, remember that you're much more powerful than you think. Forgot to pull one of the Kali cards. I do want to do that. Kali Kalmasa Nasini. It is time to free yourself from what has been, learn from it, but not allow it to define you or direct the course of your life. Give up your stories about the past. You have outgrown them. Kali consumes mistakes, sins, and negativities. Let her free you now so you can be open to the gift of your life unfolding. So whatever it is that you're going through right now, and if it is like a person in your life that you really like need to let go of, if that resonates with you, this person is not going to like cast a miasma over your life. You're going to be able to move on. Okay, I haven't even flipped over any tarot cards yet. Six of Wands. Yeah, you're going to be victorious over this situation. You have a lot of power within you that you're not acknowledging is one thing that I'm getting. Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, this vitality that you have, this strength and vitality, and, you know, you've got the, also like your ancestors at your back. You know, you have, if not ancestors, or in addition to ancestors, you have people in your life that have your back. So whichever ones are exerting control over you and making you feel bad about yourself, those aren't the ones I'm talking about here. Like, you have others. There's a lot of I think just coming out of a Five of Pentacles moment that we were all just in, astrologically, we just left Five of Pentacles. I think there's a lot of practices of gratitude that need to happen. Like, our focus has been misdirected on the people that aren't good for us. So we just need to bring it back around to, oh, but I have these other people that are there for me. They get me. I have these other people. I don't need the people that make me feel like shit. Death. Yeah, like your tower moment in specific is about making an essential change in your life. And I do get this vibe more so than I did with with pile 1. I do get the vibe for you that it is a person, possibly. A person that you need to block and delete. A person that is trying to exert control over you. Or again, for some of you, there is a person that you are attempting to control. And not, again, I'm not saying that you're doing it on purpose, but like, examine where the word control lies in your current embodying the tower moment. Are you trying to exert too much control over yourself? If so, then you need to let it go. Let yourself out. Because if you do, your people will find you. They're much more likely to find you if you have a stance on something, if you have an opinion, if you're not trying to make everything perfect all the time. Maybe the gentleness is also part of your shadow because you're just a little too gentle all the time. And maybe that's not working for you anymore. 3 of Wands. Yeah, like you're stepping through. This is your time to step through the portal of these like 3 sticks here in a triangle pattern. It's time for you to step through this portal. And in order to step through it, be gentle with yourself, relinquish some control, because you can't be hyper controlled to walk through the 3 of Wands. It's kind of a one of my life's mottos is do it now, be ready later, because it gets me to actually do things and stop overthinking so much. Because you can't always readjust. And I think that's something for you right now as well. 8 of Swords. Yeah, because you're just trapped. You're trapped in your mind. You're trapped in this, like, whatever this hyper control is. Whether someone else in your life is really exerting control over you. And if that's happening to you, I'm so sorry. I've been there. Like, particularly if it's a very important person in your life. If it is a romantic relationship. If someone's making you feel like you are not strong and you're not allowed to be proud of yourself, that person's not good for you. No matter what, even if they're not doing it on purpose. And I'm not necessarily suggesting you cut everyone out of your life that doesn't make you feel great at all times, like, you know, but, you know, there's a difference between like somebody that maybe is exerting some control over you that has your best interest in mind. Like sometimes, you know, parents are in that category, but other times parents are in the shitty category of control too. And that's a weird line right there because, you know, you came from their loins. You know, they think that they see you as an appendage. I think. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a mom, but it seems like my mom sees me as an extension of her. So that makes everything I do very important to her. And it's coming from a good place, but boundaries need to be set. You know, you still need to set boundaries with people even when they have your best interests at heart, because they still might not be hearing you correctly. That's another thing I'm getting with this ears card. I'm going to look at the guidebook here for that too. Number 43, ears. Our ears are connected to our kidneys. Ringing in the ears occurs when our kidneys are stressed. And this ringing is a warning from the body that things feel overwhelming and we must slow down. There you go. So if you get ringing in the ears, it means your kidneys are having a hard time processing the things that are coming in. So there is sort of a toxicity involved in that, right? So yeah, I think this is also just an indicator to pay attention to your body when you are around certain people. If your body is having reactions such as ringing in the ears, maybe you're a little sick to your stomach when you're around certain people and you can't really point, maybe you don't even know why you feel that way around this particular person, but pay attention to that because it's telling you something. We may not hear properly because we are resisting hearing something that we don't want to hear, or we may have blockages in the ears because we are protecting ourselves based on pain we have suffered in the past. Okay, I'm gonna just put this on the screen too in case you want to read that. So pay attention. Yeah, I'm this in particular, I'm thinking pay attention to what your body's doing when you're around certain people. Like even as something as simple as body language, if you find yourself getting smaller, crossing your arms, tucking your legs up to your chest, anything like that where you are compacting yourself into a ball to protect yourself around a certain person, ask yourself why. Are they trying to control you? Are they trying to tell you that you shouldn't be proud of yourself? Are they saying one thing when you know? So like what you're actually hearing versus like the literal words that you're hearing versus how those words reflect in you and make you feel. There's a disconnect here. Like they might be saying things that on paper look like they're saying nice things, but you know they're trying to exert control over you by the words that they choose to use around you. You know? Yeah, I'm just really getting that this is very person specific in this pile. So even though it's kind of late because I'm pretty much done with this pile, kind of late to say this, if you don't think there is a person in your life that you maybe need to set better boundaries with or just shut out of your life entirely, then maybe this pile isn't for you. You are strong. You do deserve to be proud of yourself. Be gentle with yourself. You have more power than you think you do. But a transformation needs to take place. Call upon the people that you do know that you can trust. Okay, pile 3. This Tower card here. I think I am, if you picked this particular Tower card, I think there might be some Buffy spoilers because this is the Buffy tarot that we're working with here, and this Tower moment is important to describe. So this is the end of, I'm just going to babble about like the context of this Tower card. This is the end of season 5. Buffy has spent this particular season examining her relationship to what is being a Slayer about. What is it about? Does it mean that I have to lose my humanity in order to do the job that I was chosen to do? She doesn't want to lose her humanity. She wants to be connected to people. She wants to still be able to love, and she has been through a lot at this point. At this point in the series, she's lost her mother. She's had to, at one point, send her boyfriend to hell because he was going to destroy the world. She, lots of other things as well. She has been through a lot. And at this point, she makes a choice in service of love to sacrifice herself. She realizes that that she can give her life to save someone that she loves. And it is her act of doing this that shows that she does still have compassion. She does still have love. She hasn't become, just warrior first, person second. She is trying to reconnect to her humanity by making this act of leaping off the tower. She is giving her life to sacrifice. She is sacrificing her life for the love of someone else. And it's definitely an embodying the tower moment, I think. Okay, and I'm using this Dark Goddess Oracle today. I was planning to use it as just, here's the goddess that's helping you through your embodying the tower moment, which, yes, but the key words on these cards are also kind of serving as the trigger. We'll see if that becomes the case for you as well, pile 3, but that's what I'm thinking. What is the trigger? What is the thing that's made you start this process of embodying the tower? however that's manifesting for you. Arachne. Hubris. Hubris. What is hubris? Is hubris like pride or something? I don't know what hubris means. Hold please, let me look at the guidebook. See if we get more insight on that. Exhibitionist of Greek origin, Arachne was a most gifted weaver who challenged Athena. Face your fear of spiders. Are you coming from a place of ego or from the heart? Be careful not to brag. Don't. Oh, so hubris is kind of like ego. Okay, got it. Okay, so the trigger for you in this embodying the tower moment in your life is hubris, ego. Like, what is happening right now that like is really ego motivated? As this might be a good time to practice setting aside your ego. And then, okay, so Dark Mirror is going to be sort of this is sort of a take it to your journal moment. Like, what is the shadow coming up for you surrounding this, like, embodying the tower moment of hubris and ego? What is sort of the thing to look deeper? You know, take a cold, hard look in the mirror. That's what this deck is about. Okay, yeah, that's that one. The child I was meant to be. So we're talking about some childhood shit here. Like, what ego have you created for yourself to protect yourself from the pain that you felt as a child? I'm almost seeing this as like you are pushing others away. And that's a very Buffy thing too. Something about her character. She tends to shut down when faced with emotions and push the people in her life away from her. So in what way are you doing that is kind of how I'm seeing this. Like, in what way it's like you're trying to protect yourself by not getting close to anyone else because of shit that happened in your childhood. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting with that. And this is a full moon card. So that might be a good time for you to do, like, the next full moon might be a good time for you to do sort of a spell for yourself. Let me see. So I do have a calendar in here. When's the next full moon? Oh my God, it's on Friday, this Friday, the 5th. So if you do, it's on one of my friend's birthdays. 5/5, Cinco de Mayo, full moon. Get into it. Is it one of, no? Yeah, it is, okay. That one. Power. Yeah, kind of like pile 2. So you might still be watching pile 2 in this. You might have something of worth in this reading as well, perhaps. Because that pile was about someone taking away your power. It's almost like the power that you've chosen to embrace in support of your ego that's protecting yourself from childhood trauma. It's almost like it's misdirected. There's something like you could be using your power to hold up an egoic self that is more in alignment with who you really are and not as a reaction to your childhood. Does that make sense? It's almost like currently your ego is sort of a reactionary thing when it might be time to acknowledge where you currently are and how far you've come and where your actual power lies. It's almost like it's time for a reconstruction of ego. I'm not suggesting you don't have any ego at all, because, I mean, we all have, or maybe we don't, but like, I know for me, it helps me cope with the world to have a mythologized self, which is one of the reasons why, like, I'm not going by my first name on my channel. I'm going by my middle name. And the, you know, the title of Mixtress, you know, it sort of demands respect from the get, right? Not necessarily that everyone does so, but it's a drag persona. There's some hubris in it. There's some ego in it. And it might be time to reconstruct your ego. That's what I'm getting. Like, you embodying the tower is a time for you to reconstruct your ego, because the childhood traumas, this comes up a lot, I think. Like, I think that we get used to reacting to traumas in our past, and we let it start to define us, when sometimes we really are mostly over whatever the thing is, and it's time to let it go. We also have rabbit and chamomile. So sort of your plant and animal energy, rabbit and chamomile. I do want to see what the guidebook has to say about this. Rabbit and chamomile. Be aware and receptive. Move away from victimhood. Yeah, see? Rabbits have historically been associated with many energies: fertility, courage, abundance, and luck, to name a few. They are earth element animals who are deeply grounding. And while small and timid, they are some of the bravest animals in the forest. Even as they know they are prey to many, they still move out into the world each day. Am I attempting to blame others for my experience? Am I fully present in this moment, or absorbed in the past and future? So sometimes rabbit can come up when there's a lot of anxiety. But yeah, it's also important to remember that rabbits are real fucking brave. You know, you have more... Yeah, that sort of victim mentality is something that I think played a part in constructing your ego. And it's time to re-examine that, and which parts of that you can let go of. Because, you know, the ways that the coping mechanisms that we pick up as children to protect ourselves from the things that we go through early in life are effective. They work, but they can get to a point where they're no longer protecting you from bad things. They're protecting you from good things as well. So it might be time to let go of some of those defense mechanisms that you maybe picked up in childhood, or surrounding things that happened to you in childhood. Creativity. So that might be a way to, like, reinvigorate yourself and re-engage. Use your creativity. Like, we have this, like, she's growing something from her hands in this. Maybe it's even like reconstruction of ego surrounding, like, what if you had the childhood that you wish you had? What kind of person would you be? Try on that persona for a minute and see how it fits. Creativity. Your creative energy requires attention. Choose an outlet for this pent-up energy and allow it to flow through you. Dance, art, music, craft, whatever feels right to you. Everyone is creative. Let your inner child out to play. Okay, I'm going to put this next to the inner child. Yeah, it's almost like I'm asking you, like the cards are asking you, the universe is asking you to operate as if you did not go through all the trauma that you went through. Continue going out in the world every day despite the fact that you have been prey. How would that feel? Try it out. If it doesn't work, you can always go back into your hidey hole. You could always go back to protecting yourself from others. Maybe that just means you're not ready yet. But try it out. Okay, what have I missed? I have way too many oracle decks today. Okay, here we go. I just want to use them all. Really loving this one. I was able to get it used, so it was very affordable, and I really like it. Okay, it's this one. Gifts. Yeah, and I almost feel like you really are trying to protect yourself from love. It's like someone in your life, or maybe many someones in your life, are trying to offer you companionship, love. Maybe there's somebody that wants to do a creative project with you, and you've been telling them no because you're scared. You're scared to try it. You're scared to try to collaborate with someone or open yourself up to, yeah. But someone wants to offer you gifts. If you let those barriers down, again, reconstruction of ego based around the child you were meant to be. What would that look like? Maybe this is even a good journaling activity. Sit down with your journal. If you're a journaling type person, or if you like to do like voice memos on your phone or whatever, you could do that instead. But make a narrative. What would you be like as an adult, whatever age you're at now, if you had had the childhood that you should have, that you know in your heart you should have had? If the traumas that happened to you pre-age 20 or pre-age 25 maybe hadn't happened, what would you be like now? What creative gifts would you be sharing with the universe? Because this could even be not someone giving you a gift, but you giving gifts to the universe. You providing something that other people want through your own creativity. You're going to have to let go of your current construction of ego. Maybe not completely let go of it, but reformulate it. That's what your embodying the tower moment is. Mantra Shakti. Do not allow negative thoughts or speech to undermine your inner spiritual connection. Claim your voice and your power to express yourself from your heart. Creativity. Though it may not yet be visible in your physical world, a new order is generating within the soul, and in time it shall manifest in a transformation that heals your inner world and improves your physical life circumstances too. So, negative thoughts and speech. Ask yourself how that's manifesting in your life. I'm willing to bet that if you're identifying with all this childhood stuff, some of those inner voices are voices of your caretakers growing up. They're not your voice. They're someone else telling you you're not good enough. And this person likely no longer has power over you. Literally. Hopefully. If they still do, I'm so sorry. Some of this shit may be hard. Like if you're still living under the roof of someone that is part of your childhood trauma and you depend on them in some way, some of this shit's going to be hard to manifest. Like reconstructing your ego, creativity, taking back your power. But I feel like there's something you can do, even if it's little. Even if it's really little and you're the only one that knows. You know, if it's a mindset that you are able to construct around yourself until you're able to break free. Anyway, haven't even turned over any tarot cards yet. 6 of Stakes. We got that in pile 2 too. 2-2. The Moon. Yeah, some real shadow work shit going on here. Talk about somebody that's had problems in their childhood as Faith. We don't know what they are, but she's had some shit. Knight of Sides. So here's that tower again in the background, because this is from the same season. So Knight of Swords. Ace of Pentacles. And 10 of, so here we have Faith again. 10 of Stakes. So this is a moment, like I am going to be relating this to like actual moments in, because they are depicted. Actual moments in the show are depicted in the cards in Buffy Tarot. So those play a part in the reading as well. So this moment when Faith stakes, this guy here is Kakistos, and he killed her watcher. And when we first meet Faith, this is actually the shirt that she was wearing when we first met her. When we first meet Faith, she is still reeling from that trauma that she went through somewhat recently. And she is able to put some closure on the situation when she finally slays the person that killed her watcher, which is this moment here. So, in what way can you slay the demons of your past in order to stop feeling like a victim? It's going to be difficult. Embodying the tower moments are not easy. We're not here to be talking about like easy psychological work today. It's going to be hard. But it is going to involve, I think because of the Knight of Scythes here, it's going to involve some communication of some kind. Writing a letter, sending an email. Maybe there's like, if there's a specific situation where you are definitely safe from someone that has caused you harm, if you are safe to do so, that's the caveat here. Can you send them a letter? Can you tell them how they've hurt you? Only do that if it would make you feel better to do it. And one thing, if you are considering something like that, that's a very emotional, very difficult thing to do. If you're considering doing something like that, ask yourself beforehand, how would I feel if this person responded to this email or this letter? And if you would not like to hear what they have to say in response to you, as soon as you send that email, block them. Send them to your spam folder. Or if they do send you, if it's like a physical letter that you're sending in the mail and you get something, some kind of communication back from them, don't open it. But only if you're okay with hearing what they have to say. If you feel like you would be safe in hearing what they have to say, you don't have to, do whatever's best for you. But if you do feel like communicating with them would make you feel better, and this is an isolated thing, not everybody's going to want to do that. You may just be, this Knight of Swords could just be, instead of like sending a letter or something, it could just be your creative expression of that. Like, how can you communicate yourself to this person that's hurt you? Or communicate yourself to, and not necessarily, when I say communicate yourself to the person that hurt you, you don't necessarily need them to know. You don't necessarily need to communicate it with them. I mean, it depends on your circumstance. You know the answer to that. Like, it could just be that you write a letter to them in your journal. You say everything that you want to say in your journal. Everything. And they never have to know, but it's going to be a cathartic experience for you to do something like that. And it will be expressing your creativity. Or this could be you writing. For some reason, I'm seeing the Knight of Swords as being about writing right now. It's a construction of words in some way, or maybe a creation of a piece of artwork. Like, whatever you need to do, whatever project you need to focus on to put your childhood self at ease. Do you need to write a letter to your inner child? That's something that you could do with your creativity. You could create a series of art, like art. What am I thinking of? Like a particular theme series. I'm not thinking of the right word, but like a series of pieces of art that all revolve around the theme of healing your inner child. that could be something to do. Yeah. Because I think you have a gift to give the world. I think you working through your own shit can help others work through theirs. Just others seeing that you have been prey in the past, but you're still putting yourself out there. You're still putting yourself out there. You're still going out there every day. When others see that you are doing that, they see your power, they will be able to take some of their own. You know what I mean? Some of this shit is making, like, I started out thinking, like, this has to do with ego. And it might be that the way that it has to do with ego is that you need to have more ego. You need to know that you have the power. You need to know that you're not a victim. Because that was something that Faith was dealing with in the episode when she slayed Kikistos. She was like shutting down whenever she was in a, when he came back, she was just like so traumatized by seeing him because of what the feelings that his presence brought up for her, that she wasn't dealing. But by the end of the episode, she had like worked through her inner demons and shit, and she was ready to slay him, and it provided so much closure to her. So how can you slay the people that have hurt you in your past? Maybe you write a fiction story where you turn your abuser into this Kikistos guy, into this demon. Make up your own demon. Write a whole like fan fiction if you do like Buffy and you're relating to Faith's storyline in particular. Maybe you can create a fan fiction of like more of the inner monologue of Faith during this time whenever she got that closure for herself. Or if you identify with Buffy, write from her point of view as if you are her, as if you had that slayer power, because you are a slayer. Even if you've been a victim in the past. And some of those negative thoughts that are in your head, that's not your voice. Recognizing that doesn't necessarily make it easier to ignore that voice. It can a little bit. It may not be, just knowing that is not enough. There needs to be some work done, and this involves your particular form of creative expression. Whether you make like traditional art, you write music, you write fiction, whatever it is that you do, whatever your creative expression is, and this might even, maybe you haven't been utilizing your creative expression in a while. And you do need to go back to, okay, what was my creative expression as a child? What types of creativity was I developing at the point when I had whatever the trauma is, or multiple traumas? What's the trajectory of my creative expression if I didn't go through all those traumas? Yeah, it's time for a reconstruction of ego with you guys, pile 3, for sure. And you will be victorious. When you start down that path, you will be victorious. You will find your power. Okay. I think that's it. These readings were a bit long today, but I think that's a good thing. I think we really needed to dig in. And thank you guys for being here.